Let me guess, you've got an iPad, but you don't really use it that much. It's sitting on a shelf or in a drawer somewhere gathering dust. Mostly because you've been waiting for the day that your iPad will finally be powerful enough to replace your computer. And guess what? Today's your lucky day, because with the brand new iPadOS 26 upgrade, your iPad's never been more powerful. Want to learn how to make the most out of it? Stick around, I got you covered. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and in today's video, we're going to count down my 7 favorite features of the brand new iPadOS 26 upgrade. If you'd like to follow along with today's lesson, hit this QR code that you see on your screen to download your free SmartGuide. Our SmartGuides are clear and simple documents that give you visual step-by-step directions on everything we're going to cover today. And make sure to stick around for my MacWhisperer Power Tip, because I'm going to reveal a tool hidden in plain sight that makes your iPad even more powerful. Let's hop on over to the iPad and get started. There's a ton of fantastic features and tools in iPadOS 26, but we're going to start with the granddaddy of all of them. There have been several missing pieces for the iPad that have made it hard for me to recommend as a replacement for a computer. And one of the most notable ones is how you work with Windows on the iPad. On a Mac, you've got the ability to stack windows on top of each other, to have side-by-side documents, but on the iPad, it's always left a little bit to be desired. But not anymore. On iPadOS 26, we finally have proper window management. Before I show you how it works, let's step into the settings section, because you may need to change a couple of settings to get the most out of the new window management tools. Coming into settings here, you'll see a section called multitasking and gestures. And in this setting, you're going to see 3 separate options. The first one on the left is always use full screen apps. If you click that, that means whenever you go into any app on your iPad, it will always take up the full space on the screen. If you stay in this setting, there's no easy way to do multitasking. You can't have multiple screens on at the same time, but it allows you to focus on the specific thing you're doing, so that whether you're in music, or in photos, or even in your address book, all of your apps take up the full available space of the iPad, giving you a beautiful view, but not a great way to multitask. Let's come back into our settings section here, and let's look at the next option. The next option on the far right is called Stage Manager, and Stage Manager has been around for a couple of years now. What Stage Manager does is it gives you an easy way to organize your windows in separate app clumps. You can easily resize your windows by grabbing the bottom right corner and making it into a different size. On the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see other apps that you recently opened. By tapping on them, it will open them up into Stage Manager and give you the ability to resize those windows so that you can do more than one thing at a time. When you're using Stage Manager, you can add additional apps onto the window by pressing and holding on them from the dock and dragging them right onto the screen. You can move the windows around, resize them, and keep them clumped together. In this case, we've got photos and reminders together. If I click on one of the app clumps on the left, like music, it'll take photos and reminders and leave them stacked together over there. That means it's easy for me to come back to that app stack and continue what I'm doing. Stage Manager is a step in the right direction because it gives us windows we can move around and resize, and the ability to do multitasking with multiple apps at the same time. But in my opinion, it doesn't go far enough. I need the ability to have as many windows open as I want and the ability to move between them easily without worrying about which app clump I need to click on next to get to the next thing I'm doing. Let's hop back into settings and let's look at our third option. So we've talked about full screen apps and we've talked about Stage Manager. Windowed apps is the new option available on iPadOS 26. And guess what? It's like your computer. When you click on an app, like Mail, it opens up in a window right on your screen. You can then move that window by grabbing the header bar and put it anywhere on the screen that you like. You can resize windows, grabbing them from the corners, making them wider, bigger, smaller, whatever size and shape you need them to be. You can have as many different apps on the screen as you want. So I can pull up Photos, and I can pull up Safari, shrinking the window a little bit, Moving it over onto the side here, I can open my address book, I can open up music, and I can move through all of these windows easily. Just like on the computer, if you touch any of these windows, it will bring them up front, replacing the window behind it. This means that you can move through the different apps simply by clicking on the window for that app. If you use the dock down below, you can also jump quickly from one app to another without ever having to go back to your home screen or back to the Stage Manager view. But it doesn't end there. If you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner of each of these windows, we've got a red, orange, and green button just like we do on the Mac. And they do the same thing on the iPad that they do on the Mac. If you press the red button, it closes the window. If you press the orange button, it minimizes it and hides it in the dock. And if you press the green button, it makes that app full screen. By using the red, orange, and green buttons, you can manipulate your windows, move things around, and make things perfect. But there's even another tool that exists right within this Windows tool. If I tap on the buttons in the top left and then press and hold on any of them, I have the option to move and resize windows. This can allow me to quickly take one app and make it 50% of the screen on the right, while I come over to another app and make it 50% on the left. Split screen has never been so easy. And when you use split screen like this, you'll have a little tab in the middle that can allow you to quickly move left or right to make one window bigger and the other window smaller, or vice versa. But I can always grab the little handle on the bottom right and resize this window at will. Clicking on the window management buttons here makes it so easy for you to quickly set up a bunch of apps side by side without having to fight with them. And there's tons of different options that you can use between 3 apps at a time, 4 apps at a time, 2 apps at a time, and even more. That's my favorite feature number 1 of iPadOS 26, and I'm ecstatic that we can finally use an iPad like a computer. But it doesn't stop there. Let's step over into feature number 2, the brand new menu bar. It's fantastic that the iPad finally has proper window management, but there's another missing piece that's always been a problem for me on the iPad. On the computer, we have this menu bar that floats along the top of our screen, and that menu bar has all sorts of options in it. So when we're looking for a particular tool or function, we don't have to guess where it is and Google it. We can go through the menu bar and find the exact tool that you need. In certain apps, like the Photos app, there's all sorts of tools that most people don't know how to locate. Prior to this update, with the iPad, if you wanted to use one of these functions, you either had to know where it was or know how to get to it. And moving through these separate options on something like Photos are exhausting because there's tons of options that you need on a regular basis. It felt like a huge compromise that all of a sudden I don't have access to the tools on this program because I don't know what I have to long press on or swipe on or press and click on in order to find them. But those mysteries are solved now because by pulling down from the top of your screen lightly, you get a menu bar for every single app. And by going through the different menu options, you will see unbelievable tools that have been on your iPad all along, but you didn't know how to get to them. Whether it's something like editing a photograph or changing the view on your Photos app or adjusting images, all these tools exist in the menu bar and they've always been on the iPad, just hard to find if you don't know what you're doing. So now, no matter what app you're on, all you have to do is a light swipe from the top of your screen, pull up your menu bar, and explore the menu options to find every tool that you've been hunting for and wishing was easier to locate. Now they're all right here, easily and simply. And the menu bar has tons of powerful tools built into it, but on top of that, it's got an easy way for you to get into the settings for any app. So if you need to adjust your email settings, you don't have to go to settings and open it up and go down to apps and then go into mail. You can come into the application menu, click on mail settings, and it opens it right up for you. It's a fantastic feature and one of the best additions to the iPad that I've ever seen. And for feature number 3, we've got an app that's been completely redesigned for the iPad to give you an almost computer-like experience. On the iPad and the phone, we don't have a normal file structure. We don't have a desktop or a documents folder. Instead, we have an app called Files. And the Files app is intended to close the gap between all of your Apple devices. By using the Files app, you can find files from the desktop on your computer or from the Downloads folder on your iPad all in the same place. The Files app has been around for a long time and most people are barely using it at all, but it's such a powerful tool that it's easily the number 3 feature on the new iPad operating system. I'm going to show you around, but before I do, I'm going to throw a little bonus tip in here. One of the other really nice upgrades to iPadOS 26 is how it works with an external trackpad or mouse. You can connect a trackpad or mouse through Bluetooth settings, and once you do, you can manipulate your iPad just like you would with the computer. I say this now because, as you'll notice, I have a brand new cursor showing up on my screen so that I can use my trackpad for the rest of this feature explanation. And when you're using your trackpad, instead of a fuzzy little dot, you have a full cursor that you can actually increase the size of and even change the color of to make it easier than ever to use your iPad without having to touch it with your hands. So using my trackpad, I'm going to come over here and open up the Files app. But I'd like to use the Files app in full screen. So let's come over to our window buttons right here and just click right on that green button in order to go into full screen mode. Inside of the Files app, there's a ton of tools and a ton of functionality. On the left sidebar, you've got the ability to access any locations that you've connected to your iPad. You can connect to any cloud storage provider you like by installing their app on your iPad and signing in. Once you do, it'll show up on the sidebar for files, allowing you to explore your Dropbox files, your Google Drive files, or your iCloud Drive files. That's been around for a while, but they've really enhanced the way that it works on OS 26, mostly because they want you to use the iPad like a computer. One of the big differences between files on the computer, which we call the Finder, and the Files app on the iPad has been the way you can organize it. And that's completely changed now. By clicking on the icon right over here, you can choose to use your files in the icon view, which is what we're looking at now, and the prior default view, versus the list view, which allows you to organize things by name, by date, by kind. You can also come in and view it by the column view, which is the view that I prefer the most on the computer. When you're using the column view, you can go from one file into another file, without losing your place. And because the sidebar on the left is removable, you can click this button right here to put the sidebar on the top instead, giving you even more space to explore your Dropbox, your desktop, or your Documents folder. From within this view, not only can you move through your files, but you can also take any file and move it into any other folder quickly. By clicking the Select button right on our menu bar here, you can select multiple items and then press and hold on those multiple items in order to create a brand new folder with all of those items right from your iPad. These tools make it easier than ever to manipulate your documents, your data, your spreadsheets, and have everything in your hands, whether you're on your iPad or your phone or your computer. By using the Files app, you have instant access to your iCloud Drive, your Dropbox, your Google Drive, and so much more. You can easily favorite any folder that you're accessing regularly by coming into where the folder lives, pressing and holding on it, and choosing where it says Favorite on the pop-up list. When you do that, it will show up in the Favorites section on your sidebar. By clicking the 3 dots up at the top, you can edit the sidebar, moving any of your files around so that you can find them easily and quickly, even though you're just on your iPad. In addition to those changes, they've added even more functionality. Because right from the Files app, if you press and hold on any folder, you'll get an option to customize that folder and synchronize it with tags across all of your devices. You can add a fun emoji or logo directly onto a folder, and by coming up to the Tags section, you can choose to file it in any of your tag categories. This one has to do with the MacWhisperer Academy, so let's click on that button right there, and all of a sudden we've got a brand new fun folder right on our iPad that also synchronizes with our iPhone and our computer. This means that the Files app connects everything and it works on the iPad just like it does on the computer, making it easier than ever to do what you need to do right from your tablet. And there's one last feature within Files that I want to talk about, which is the ability to come into any document and choose how you'd like to open it. In the past, when you opened up a doc inside of the Files app, It opened in a preview version, and then you could share it to Dropbox or other files. But now you can open it into any supported applications, allowing you to take that image and drop it right into Procreate to fix it up, or drop it right into Dropbox to sync it up and share it with others. Being able to adjust which application that document will open in is a huge time saver, and it's something we've done on the computers for years, but we couldn't do it on the iPad until this update. That's another one of the fantastic iPadOS 26 features. So while we're talking about productivity and making the iPad closer to a computer, let's get into feature number 4. Feature number 4 is a brand new application being added to the iPad and the iPhone for the first time ever. This program, called Preview, has existed on the Mac for over a decade, and it is a fantastic tool for opening, editing, viewing, and modifying PDFs, JPEGs, and other image files. In the past, if you wanted to work with PDFs on your iPad, you had to download Adobe Acrobat or some third-party application to do what really should have been native to the Apple ecosystem. And by moving the Preview app over to the iPad, it finally is. It's never been easier to work with PDFs or images. Let me show you what we're talking about. When you first open up the Preview app, you're going to have several options in front of you. First off, you can create a new document, which we'll do in a moment. But you can also scan documents. If the only way that you know how to scan documents on your iPad and phone is by adding them to the Notes app or taking a photograph and putting them in your photo library, there's a better way. And by coming into Preview and clicking the Scan Documents option, it opens up your camera and allows you to scan an image and even scan additional pages for that image. Click the blue checkbox in the upper right-hand corner, and it will save your brand new scan into the Files app, which, as we said a moment ago, synchronizes with your computer and your iPhone, meaning you don't have to pay for that third-party scanning app anymore. You can use the Preview app to take beautiful scans of any document, making it easier than ever to capture that information and save it into the right place on your computer. But that's not the only thing that the Preview app can do. Right from the Preview window, we can open up existing image files or PDF files with a simple click. By coming down here into this image and clicking it opens right into Preview, allowing me to crop it, edit it, and make all kinds of changes. If I click on the markup toolbar, I can even add drawings to this image, or stickers, or text, or a signature. It's easier than ever to manipulate your image files right from the Preview app, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But one of the most powerful functions that Preview offers is the ability to work with PDFs easily. If you open up an existing PDF document like this one right here, it'll give you the ability to edit it, to make changes, to move pages around by pressing and holding on them on the sidebar and moving them up and down in the list. You can use the markup tool to add drawings, to add annotations, to add images, pictures, text, almost anything. But some PDFs need to be filled in, like a document you might have downloaded from the IRS or the DMV. It's easy to work with fillable PDFs from the Preview app as well. Clicking on any PDF like this will open it up. And if possible, it will offer to help you autofill by using information from your address book, helping you fill in your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address without actually having to type anything. And if you've got the Apple Pencil, you can even use it to fill in your forms by writing onto the screen and letting it save it. This means it's easier than ever for you to quickly fill out a PDF form, even from your iPad. But I'm going to give you a special trick here that takes this tool and brings it up to the next level. Because what happens frequently with PDFs is we might get emailed a form that we need to fill out. And in our minds, we're thinking, I've got to print it, I've got to sign it, I've got to scan it back in. No, you don't need to do any of those things. Watch this. From inside of the Mail app, if you get an email with a PDF on it and you click on that PDF, it'll open it into Preview for you, allowing you to autofill it quickly and easily. Come right into that form, tap on any of the sections, and fill the information in. If a signature is needed, simply click this blue plus button in the lower right-hand corner in order to add a signature. If you haven't set up any signatures yet, click the Add or Remove Signature button, and then you can click the plus button to add your own in, using your finger on your iPad to make your signature. You can also use your Apple Pencil if you have it. Clicking the blue checkbox in the upper right-hand corner will add that signature to the document so that you can position it exactly where it needs to go. Once you've completely filled out the form, click the Share button in the upper right-hand corner, and one of the options you'll see will be the ability to send this signed document back to the person who originally emailed it to you. One simple click, and I'm completely done with filling out that form. No scanner or printer required. But there's still one more powerful tool inside of Preview, and that's the ability to create a brand new image right from here. By clicking on New Document, it'll create a new image file. This image file can be used to create all sorts of images right from the Preview app. For this, let's resize this window a little bit and move it over to the side, and let's bring up our Photos app, and let's also put it over to the side. From here, what I can do is take any image I like and drag it right onto this open canvas. It'll save the photo right there, and then I can add additional photos, and additional photos, as many as I like, onto this document. Preview has some powerful tools, so if I've got an image here and I click the three dots in the upper right-hand corner, I can remove the background of that image perfectly and cleanly. Let's do that here as well. Three dots, remove background, three dots, remove background. Once you've taken care of that, you can build amazing images. For this example, I'm going to grab this landscape image and drag it onto the document. Then, using the blue balls in the corner, I'm going to make it larger, and then tap on the three dots and send this image to the back. Notice that the other images pop right up, allowing me to select them, resize them, and position them into a brand new collage created on the fly right from the Preview app. No third-party tools at all. Preview has always been a powerful app on the Mac, but now that they've brought it to the iPad and the phone, Preview can do all sorts of miracles with your PDF documents, your images, and more. It's another fantastic tool in the iPadOS 26 upgrade. And for feature 5, 6, and 7, Apple has brought brand new apps over to the iPad, and we start with the Phone app. For years, people have wanted their iPad to be like their phone, to be able to make phone calls, receive phone calls, check their voicemail, and more. But it's never been possible until now. With the brand new Phone app on the iPad, you have the ability to access all of your contacts, make calls, and receive calls. It does require an iPhone kept nearby so that the iPhone can forward the information to your iPad. Once you have that handled, clicking on the Phone app opens up a host of new tools and options. We're greeted with our unified screen that shows our favorites up at the top and our recent calls below that. By clicking on the three lines up here, you can change from calls to missed calls, from missed calls to voicemails, allowing you to check your voicemail from your iPad for the first time ever. You can also come up and head into the unknown callers section. With iOS 26 and iPadOS 26, Apple has added robust call filtering tools that allow you to screen unknown callers or spam calls so that they don't show up in your inbox, and you don't have to worry about being distracted or disturbed by robocalls anymore. All of these tools exist under the three lines, allowing you to move through any of these sections or even click on the Manage Filtering button to open up your settings tool and make changes to how the Phone app processes unknown calls. Here you'll see that there are three options to screen unknown callers. Silence them automatically, let them come in and don't screen them, or a brand new function called Ask Reason for Calling. With this turned on, if someone calls your phone or iPad and you don't have their number in your address book, rather than sending them straight to voicemail or letting it ring through, it'll ask the caller why they're calling and who they are. When they answer that information, you'll get a notification right on your device that tells you exactly who they are and what they want. And right from there, you can pick up the call easily and simply. These new call filtering options exist on the iPad and the phone, and they are a game changer. From coming back over to our Phone app, in the upper right-hand corner, you've got an easy way to search. To the left of that, we've got a keypad that we can use to dial numbers if they're not in your address book or you need to hit an extension. And by clicking on the Edit button in the upper left-hand corner, you can edit your favorites, make changes, and move things around so that the phone app works perfectly on your iPad, allowing you to quickly make phone calls, check voicemail, or adjust your favorites at any time. Having the phone app available on the iPad is something people have asked for years, and it's finally here, simplifying the iPad and making it an even better tool for productivity. For feature number 6, let's talk about another brand new app called Games. The Games app collects all of the games you've got on your iPhone and your iPad and makes it easy for you to open them up. Coming right in here, you'll see suggestions for games you've been playing, games that your friends are playing, and more. Coming up to the top bar, you can head over to the arcade section, which will show you the best games from the Apple Arcade that you can download for free with that subscription. Moving one tab over into the Friends section, you can invite friends to play with you or challenge them to games that you're playing together. By clicking where it says Challenge Your Friends, you'll get options for games that both you and your friends have and different ways to play and challenge each other. Maybe you're looking to challenge a friend on a high score, or to see who's a better Tetris player, or to find out who can get the best score on Temple Run. Clicking on any of these games will send an invitation to your friend, and then you can let the games begin, with the two of you competing to best the other one. Up at the top bar, you also have a library section, and this library section will show you every game you've ever downloaded or played, all in one place, making it easy for you to revisit some of your forgotten favorites or discover some brand new games that you've never played before. And last but not least, up here we've got a search bar where you can search for exactly the kind of game you're looking for. If you're interested in a family game, you can come into this section. If you're interested in a sports game, click over here. Or come into the search bar and look for anything specific, such as puzzle apps. And just like this, we'll find all sorts of puzzle apps that I can download and play easily. The new Games app makes it easier than ever to find your games, play your games, and challenge your friends. It's a ton of fun and a great way to use the iPad, especially when you're taking a break from all that heavy work we've been doing. I love that Apple's added this new functionality, and they added it to the phone, the iPad, and the computer. So whatever you do in the Games app synchronizes across all of your devices, making it easier than ever for you to beat your son at Temple Run. Good luck, Dylan. You're never going to beat him. But a dad can hope, right? And for our last new feature, there's another brand new app, but this one comes from the iPhone. This is the new Journal app. And the Journal app is a great way to capture ideas, organize your thoughts, write journals on everything from your recent trip to date nights to the books that you're reading. Opening up the Journal app, on the left sidebar, you'll see any journals that you've created. The All Entries shows all your journals in one place, but by clicking the plus button, you can create additional journals for anything, like your food tracking journal, or your mood journal, or a particular vacation. I like to track my books and my date nights, but you know what else I'd like to track? The movies that I watch. We'll come right in here, give this journal a title. I like that purple color right there. We can pick from any of these glyphs in order to customize our journal, or we can click on the emoji button to pick any emoji we like in order to customize our journal properly. I'm going to put the popcorn in there and click the checkbox in the upper right-hand corner. And now right here, I've got a great place for me to capture journal entries on any movie that I see, any book that I read, or all of the amazing date nights that my wife and I go on a regular basis. The Journal app started on the iPhone, and I loved it on the iPhone because I had it with me all the time. When I came out of that movie or when I finished reading the book, my phone was right there. But now that they've added it to the Mac and to the iPad, it's even better because it's with you no matter what device you're using. And because the iPad can use the pencil or a full-size keyboard, it's easier than ever to start a journaling habit and capture those ideas and thoughts before they go poof. So as you can see, iPadOS 26 comes ready to rumble. It's got great tools and great features, including the brand new window management that makes your windows work like they do on the computer, the brand new menu bar that allows you to find hidden items and tools in all of your apps, the redesigned Files app, the new Preview app, the Games app, the Journal app, and the Phone app allowing you to make and receive phone calls on your iPad. iPadOS 26 is filled with tools and features. But there's just one more thing I want to talk about. Before I drop my MacWhisperer Power Tip, if you've already gotten great value and learned something new about your iPad, give this video a thumbs up. That makes it easier for other people to find it, and it means a lot to me. If you've got a question, a comment, a feature I left out, or something you want to know more about, drop it into the comments section. I absolutely love my YouTube community, and I can't wait to hear from you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? There's a ton of new upgrades and updates coming with OS 26 for the phone, for the iPad, for the computer. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, how are you going to learn how to use all those new features and functions? Hit that subscribe button and that notify bell. Your iPad will thank you for it. And with that being said, let's jump right in to the Power Tip. The iPadOS 26 upgrade is full of tools. But what's surprising is what they didn't talk about in the keynote address. A year ago, Apple was pushing Apple Intelligence as their response to AI. But as we know, that didn't work quite as well as Apple hoped. And so they've kept Apple Intelligence under wraps this year. But that doesn't mean they didn't add new Apple Intelligence features. So I'm going to show you through a couple of the Apple Intelligence features that they're not talking about, but they're super valuable updates to our iPad. And we start out with the Image Playground. The Image Playground is an app on your iPad that allows you to easily create all sorts of images. And it existed in iPadOS 18, but it's been significantly enhanced in iPadOS 26. Coming into this app, clicking on the new image button down at the bottom, you'll get an option to choose all kinds of different styles. By coming up to the top here, you'll see animation, illustration, sketch, and Genmoji. You can also connect Image Playground into ChatGPT to use GPT to generate images as well. We'll talk about that in a moment. Each of the separate styles will give you a completely different kind of image. We're going to start off by coming into the animation style right here, and down below I can have it add a person, I can import a picture, or I can give it a description. For this example, click on my picture down at the bottom here, add the volcano suggestion, and let's add a robot as long as we're at it. By adding these suggestions in, it will create a cool image for me from scratch, just like this one here. Now from here, it's a little bit robotic, a little bit of a weird one. There's a volcano in the background. Not a great image. I'm not sure what that is I'm wearing on my head, but that's what you get with AI images. Sometimes they're a little bit unpredictable. No problem. Let's come in and let's change from animation over to the illustration style. And let's click off these suggestions and let's start over. This time I would like an image of cats playing poker. Let's click the send button and see what they give us. In a couple of moments, we've got our first illustrated image showing cats playing poker. But those cats don't look cool enough. Let's add sunglasses. And as soon as I do, it takes my new suggestion and updates the photo to give us cool cats playing poker. Easy and simple. You can also tap into ChatGPT, which has additional styles like oil painting, watercolor, vector, or anime. Let's see what this looks like in an anime design. Click right here, and let's give it a moment while ChatGPT works its magic. And here we have it, our anime ChatGPT cats with sunglasses playing poker image. These images are great and they can be used anywhere on your iPad, computer, or phone. But let's look at one other image creation tool, which is the Genmoji tool. Genmoji allows you to take any image you want and create an emoji that you can use in text messages and other communication. So for this design, I'd like to create a robot ghost. And there's two ways that we can do it. We can do it by taking the ghost emoji and finding the robot emoji and adding it in. And then all of a sudden it combines those two emojis into a relatively freaky ghost robot emoji. Let's see what the next one looks like. That's cool. keep that guy. If you want to keep one of the Genmojis you've created, press and hold on it, and you can edit the caption. The caption can make it easy for you to find it in the future. Once you press and hold on it, you can click Add Emoji, and it will be added to your emoji toolbar, available for you in texts, emails, or anywhere that you use your emojis. In addition to creating an emoji by combining two items, you can also create one from scratch by doing any kind of description that doesn't already exist as an emoji. For example, maybe I would like a cucumber salad emoji. Let's see what it comes up with. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Now let's press and hold on it, add the emoji, and we are done. The Apple Intelligence image creation tools work all over the iPad, but the best place to use them is inside of the Notes app. Let's open up a note, and for this, I'm going to draw a very simple drawing of a cat. Now I warn you, I am not an artist, which is why this looks terrible and why I need AI's help. When you're working on a note, click on your markup toolbar here, and from the tools, choose this magic wand. Taking that magic wand, you can circle any image on your notes document and give it a basic understanding of what you're trying to create, such as cat with sunglasses. Here you can choose from different styles like animation, illustration, or sketch. Remember, I drew the cat to begin with, so the image that's going to be created is going to use my drawing as a basis. Let's see how they do. It's certainly better than anything that I could draw. If you like it, click the blue checkbox in the upper right-hand corner and it will add it into your note, allowing you to move it around, make immediate changes to it, or continue working with the note on that document with the new image as a part of this note. So that's one of the great Apple Intelligence features that exists on iPadOS 26, but it's not the only place where Apple Intelligence lives. Let me show you one of the other cool features. For this example, we're going to come into the Messaging app. Inside the Messaging app, we can have conversations with friends and family, but sometimes you end up in a conversation with someone who speaks another language. Now, we can always roughly translate or use Google Translate or force the person to speak in our language. But with Apple Intelligence on iPadOS 26, you can have the iMessage app translate messages. To do it, come to the conversation and click on the name of the conversation. When it shows the different options in the info section, scroll down until you find the translate section. Turn it on and set it to the language that the other person is speaking. I'm going to set mine to Spanish. Once you've done that, any messages sent by the other party in that language will get automatically translated, just like this. And even though she sent the question about what I want for dinner in Spanish, it translated it perfectly into English. And when I respond in English, it'll translate it into Spanish for her, just like this. You'll notice the English underneath, but the Spanish up above. So now you can have a conversation back and forth even when the other party speaks a different language. And it will translate it for you and for them seamlessly. But that's not the only place that you can use translation on iPadOS 26. For this example, let's jump into the FaceTime app and let's start a FaceTime call with my wife. And as soon as my wife picks up, we can get into a conversation via FaceTime. But what happens if she doesn't speak English and speak Spanish instead? Well, no problem. Click on the three dots and turn on the new live translation feature right inside of FaceTime. Clicking on it can allow you to translate from many different languages. Let's go from French to Spanish and let's click Start Translation. Now, as my wife speaks her Sesame Street level Spanish phrases, let's see what it says.
Me llamo Julie. ¿Cómo te llamas?
And you'll see on the left, it's showing me a translation of exactly what she said. And if I were to speak in English to her, it would translate it on her screen into Spanish. So you no longer need to have Google Translate open to have complicated conversations with people in foreign languages. It works right here. And one of the really cool things about this live translation is that it can also be used inside of the phone app. By using Apple Intelligence to translate other languages in all sorts of apps, Apple has elevated the iPad to a tool that is now something you can communicate with international friends with without having to learn other languages. There's a ton of additional places where Apple Intelligence shows up all over the iPad, but I'll save that for a future lesson. So that's what we've got for today's video, all about the top 7 iPadOS 26 features and how to use them. Remember to stop by the description or hit this QR code to download your free SmartGuide. I hope you learned a ton in today's video, but remember, there's always more to learn. Check out this video for more amazing Apple tips and tricks, and stay tuned for more OS 26 videos and tutorials. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and I'll see you in the comments.